Asher Thomas and Olivia Monarch, thank you so much for both joining us today to talk about Tough Luck Fest coming up on September 5th and 6th. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So how did Tough Luck Fest go from an idea, this is your second year, how did it go from an idea to a 2-day showcase with the best of New England's alt and metal scene?
Yeah. We've both booked shows like probably through the majority of our college experience. And a big thing with the college we went to was creating like a capstone final project. My final project, right when I found out that we could do something like that, personally was to create a bigger show than like, I guess either of us had done ever before. So I was like, let's do this like kind of music fest type thing in like a larger venue, but still on an independent way and in an independent scale with the kind of music that at the time I was really into. And it was a much bigger undertaking than I thought. So at the time I kind of needed a hand. Olivia reached out and we started talking and building it together. But the execution of it started from what was a school project, but I think in the beginning was always like, I want to do this no matter what. And the school project was kind of like an excuse to, you know.
Totally. It was like a passion project that you were just waiting for the right opportunity.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, Olivia, first tell us a little bit about the fest. Where is it going to be? It's on the 5th and 6th of September, but tell us a little bit of details.
Sure, so it's at Brighton Music Hall. We have some friends at Crossroad that have been like really sweet about letting us put on a DIY local show, mostly local artists, for the last 2 years, which doesn't usually happen at Brighton. The most you see at Brighton is maybe an opener, is a local band, and even the biggest local bands sometimes don't get that opportunity. So we just wanted to bring this concept, which is pop punk, emo, alt rock on day one, and then heavier stuff like deathcore, hardcore, any sort of metalcore, stuff like that for day two. We wanted to bring that to Brighton Music Hall specifically because it was a venue that we had grown up going to, and a lot of people in our community have looked up to that venue and been like, I always want to play there, and don't always get the opportunity. So it's a 500 cap, and it's probably the biggest room that a lot of these bands are gonna or have played so far, and hopefully it's just the beginning and they skyrocket from there.
Tell me a little bit more about your process of picking the bands as well, Olivia. Like why those bands, and which bands did you pick to represent this wide umbrella of alt music?
Sure. So like last year was definitely a different story because it was just us thinking about who do we want on this bill. And this year we had a lot of people reach out, submissions, people who we didn't know even knew about the fest who wanted to play. And so we ended up opening a submission form and also just seeing like comments, DMs, comments from people in person about who do you want to see. Like you guys are the demographic, who do you want to go to Brighton Music Hall, who can we bring there for you? So it's less about like, numbers, like these are the, 5 biggest bands in the scene, but in our opinion on both days, these are some like the best bands in the scene. And that's the only reason that we truly booked them. There's a huge like wide spectrum of genre that I would say, especially on day one, you get like a lot of different artists. You get this kind of like goth glam, like rock thing from Exit 18, and then you'll get this like post-hardcore from Actor Observer, and then this like indie rock with some like weird experimental stuff from Trophy Wife. And those are just like 3 of the bands. So on each day, we wanted to pick somebody from each genre who would represent it well, and then try to mesh those together into a 2-day fest that doesn't need to feel cohesive, because it is cohesive inherently because it's what's happening in the community.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of these people are friends. They have like, they're 2 degrees of separation away from each other. So they've been inspired by each other like for their whole music careers, but they don't notice. So I think if you watch from start to finish each of the days, if you come for both days, you understand the mission, you understand the goal. And these are just shows that we're so excited to see. At the end of the day, all this work that we're putting into it, we actually get to go and be spectators and like watch. We just put together a show that we want to see. And then the headliners this year are incredible. They've been the sweetest. They are so nice. And Slow Joy for day one doesn't really come to Boston a lot. And this is part of he's doing a tour right off of this, just announced his tour, I think, today. So that was cool. He's coming, he's gonna play us like a really special set. He's coming from a long ways away. And Great American Ghost, who's our day 2 headliner, there's just staples in the community. Like if you like heavy music around here, you know who they are. They're from New Hampshire, but they basically came up in like Worcester and Boston. So getting those 2 bands together to play in the same festival is kind of crazy because I don't know any other world where they would play together or be in the same lineup.
Wow, you guys are like little tastemakers of like everything that you know that the community would love, right?
Yeah.
So beyond the music, what do you hope this festival means for this this music community?
Something that we started, what we wanted to do last year, but we kind of brought it in this year, was bringing in vendors. This is something that we initially had really wanted to do, but as we kind of like found our footing more with doing a show again this year, we now can, we feel more comfortable doing this. And I think the idea of that, incorporating a different kind of art into this live music thing, has always been something that I thought was really cool, and I know you also did. I remember going to shows at like the P&I Club in Worcester, and there just being like vendors set up, or going, like we were just at Warped Tour and there's like people skateboarding and stuff. And it's just this thing of like incorporating other art that is a bigger part of most music scenes. But again, like Allston, Boston, that area, like just having such like an eclectic, wide variety of different kinds of art and creativity, like bringing that to something like this Tough Luck Fest that we're doing, hoping that in the future we can do it again bigger and incorporate more kinds of art. So although it is a music festival showcase, the idea of bringing different kinds of art to it is, I guess, again, a big goal.
Totally making it more dynamic,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Something for everybody.
Yeah, and I would say on a broader scale, this might sound a little hippie, but the fact that, like, yes, we're celebrating music, we're celebrating art day of, and hopefully that carries throughout. And the bands have something to launch off of. They can build off of this show, they can put it on their resume, they can do whatever they want with it, build connections there. But I would say also it's just more of a declaration that we see you. We see what you're doing every single day in your room, trying to record these these albums and like trying to make it bigger, and we are giving you this opportunity. We only have so many spots per year, and so hopefully we get to do this literally forever and get as many bands as we love on these bills. But we have no repeat bands from last year. We want as many bands as possible to know that we understand the struggle. We're part of the struggle as well, and any little bit of advantage that we have to give to somebody, a little opportunity, we'll give it to the people that we feel like deserve it. So at that point, like, it's more about like, we see you, these dreams aren't crazy, you're doing great work, and hopefully throughout the community, whether you're into music or not, you can come together and celebrate people growing, like this milestone for a lot of these bands, and a milestone for us as well. Like, we are not these giant talent buyers by any means. So the fact that like we get to do this and show people, if you want to do something, it's possible.
We have a website, toughluckfest.com. You can buy tickets on there for each day individually or the whole fest.
Yeah, Tough Luck Fest on Instagram. That's where we do most of our like quick promotion stuff. If we need to announce anything, we'll do it through there.
Thank you both,
Yeah, thank
Asher
you.
and Olivia,
Thank
for
you.
coming, and I can't wait to hear how it goes.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for having
thanks.
us.
Thanks.